Hello people, back with a recording today. It's been a while actually. It's been over 2 weeks since I made my last recording and posted it on YouTube. It has been really quite busy in terms of the amount of shifts that I've actually gone through. But at the same time, I've actually been gardening. I'm going to farm ginger this year. So the land at the back of the house where I live, it was an absolute mess, and it's taken me some time to actually to clear it up in readiness for planting ginger. I'll show you if I can, and I don't think I can actually. I think it's no, I don't think I can on this iPad. I can't swap it round. Never mind. I wonder if I can do it this way. So this is the garden at the back of my house. Not sure if I'm doing this any good justice in terms of what you can actually see, but I'm trying my best. Anyway, so that's my ginger. So in terms of where I am at this moment in time, as I've said, I've gone through quite a few shifts in the last couple of weeks. I think globally people are starting to awaken, ascend. For me it has been really quite busy in terms of the number of shifts that I've actually gone through. And I can remember, I'm going to say that I awoken January 2006. But what I remember is the day of my awakening. It was quite a difficult day. I was experiencing quite a heaviness in my mind, and I couldn't focus. I can only call this like spiritual warfare, really. And I think for people who have actually got to this stage and who will have access to this recording will be aware that the shifts that most people have gone through, I can only speak for myself, I'm just going to say the shifts that I've gone through have not been easy. The shifts just before my awakening was difficult. I remember like I was on a roller coaster ride. That's all I can say. It was like a roller coaster ride, and I was in this portal, and I was travelling somewhere, but I can't actually say where. So I'm just going to say that my awakening was very difficult, and that I can not remember all. And I'm actually thinking for people that are or can remember the whole process of their awakening, they are very lucky. In the energetic basis that I've experienced, energetically, it's not all the things that I've actually gone through that I can remember. Sometimes I can actually remember, or it comes back to me a couple of days later, but even then it's very faint, and I can't really express what I've experienced, or if I can, it'll be in a very messy way. But post my awakening, I feel so calm. The anxiety and I can call it stress that I was experiencing before my awakening was really quite high, but post my awakening, I have never felt better. I'm sleeping better. Um, my mind isn't so heavy. It's like wherever my dimension is, it wasn't like it wasn't like it before I ascended. My intuition and my discernment has increased. As I say, I feel a lot calmer. I'm sleeping better. I feel that I have aligned. I've aligned with God. I've aligned with the universe. That's the only way I can express it, really. But a word. It's not even a warning. It's a feeling that I've got. Is that I am in a place that I have never felt so calm. Even before my awakening, I've never felt this calm. My body is so in tune with who I am now that it's really quite bizarre. It's really quite bizarre. And you know, the awakening process, the post-awakening process, is nothing like I was experiencing before. And what I'm waiting for is my next season to begin. And I'm not even sure what that is going to be like. But if it's anything like I'm feeling now, there's no spiritual warfare hardly. I'm calm. I'm sleeping. I'm eating. I'm resting more. This is nothing like I was experiencing before. Nothing at all. Which makes me feel really quite excited about my next season in terms of the awakening process. Because if it's like I feel now, it's going to be an experience. I'm hoping it's going to be an experience. Now, I'm just going to get straight to it now. Post awakening. Acknowledge what your body is telling you and your mind is telling you, particularly your intuition and your discernment is so important. Do you know, I even now, and this was probably a couple of days ago, and I'm talking about my intuition, I was just sitting in the quiet, and all of a sudden I started talking to myself, but it was more about I was saying something specific in terms of what was going on at that time for me. And to be quite honest with you, in terms of your soul and your spirit, although your soul and your spirit will communicate with you, it has to go through your heart. So all I can say in terms of that, I was talking affirmationally, and it sounded so good when I was actually talking. It did not come from me, and even now, I still don't know why I started talking in the way that I did. I really have no idea, And this is what I mean when we talk about energetic energy and our intuition and our discernment. Sometimes it gets the better of me because this is new to me and I've still got a lot to learn. So it's important for me to record this like I'm doing now, because at some point I'm going to actually come back to this and to reaffirm for myself how I was actually feeling at this time, which is the most important thing about this. And also for anybody else that is in my position, that they can actually access this recorder and actually know for themselves that they're not on their own, and to actually acknowledge that you're not on your own, and you're not going through this that nobody else is going through. Makes it easier to go through, to know that somebody else is experiencing what they're experiencing, what I'm experiencing. I made a statement some time ago that this is the most difficult thing that I've ever gone through in my life. And to be quite honest with you, I am absolutely surprised that I haven't got any mental health issues that I can actually identify to, that's affecting me in a way that is detrimental to me. I'm functioning well. As I say, I'm sleeping. I'm communicating well with people. Nobody's come up to me and said, you're a bit weird today, or you've been a bit weird for a while, or, what you've been up to, because I've seen you do this, or, nobody's come up to me and said anything of the sort, really. So on the basis of that, the only thing I can say to myself is that that I am functioning well, and I feel like I'm functioning well. But also to say that the awakening experience is something different, absolutely something different that I'm never likely to experience again, although I'm going through this now. It's something that is happening to me. I've not caused this. I've not applied for an interview and I'm going through the initial stages of post-employment or anything like that. This is happening to me. It's not that I'm actually doing this to myself, and this is what the awakening process is. It's something that happens to you. I am aware that I have broken some of my generational curses. That came to me via a channel, and that's what I picked up, is that I have broken some of my generational curses, having awoken now, and that's my ancestors are really quite pleased with me, but I can't actually say at this moment in time that I've actually spoken to my ancestors. I felt my ancestors in my heart, but that's as far as it goes, to be quite honest with you. I'm not one of these chosen ones that have a complete access to my ancestors, and maybe that will come at some point in the future, I don't know. But certainly at this time, I'm feeling calm, I'm feeling light, I'm feeling really quite energetic in terms of my body. I'm not as tired, and I must admit, at some points through the awakening process, I was really quite confused, because I really didn't understand what was going on with me. I've actually just gone with it, and the times where I've been confused in terms of the process or what's happened to me, I've just let it go and continued. Really, I haven't really focused on that because I didn't really want to confuse myself or not upset myself in that respect, really. So I just let it go, and I'm sure at some point in time everything's going to make sense to me. Everything's going to make sense. yeah, so that's that. I spoke about my body and how calm my body feels and how different I'm feeling emotionally. I can't express to you how that feels. I just feel I just feel light. I feel like all the all the pressure and the anxiety that I've been carrying around for years has just disappeared, and because it's disappeared, it's left quite a lot of space in my body that I don't actually know what to do with. And you know, to say that your body has space doesn't sound right, but that's how I feel. I feel that my body has space. Um, yeah, and that space that I've got is, I don't know what to do with it. I'm not sure. Um, I'm not sure, really. I'm not sure. I still have a lot more processing to do in terms of what's happened to me over the last 2 weeks, maybe, over the last 2 weeks. So, but I just thought that I'd need to come out and talk nonsense to you, really. Um, I am still, I am still in isolation, solitude, and that is really quite weird, really. I mean, um, probably a month ago, I had quite a lot of people, new people in my life, and all of a sudden they've just gone. They've just gone, and I do know that if there are people in your life that is not going to benefit you or hold you back in any way, God will remove them from your life, and that's probably what's happened. That God has removed these people from my life, and there's only I mean, obviously there's people in the local area that you know, when I walk past, I say hello or good evening or good morning and that. But in terms of relationship, I really haven't got a relationship. Besides with the couple that lives in the next house to me, and I haven't seen them for a while either. So besides me and my dog and my gardener, Greg, that's the only people, animal that's in my life at this moment in time. I can say that I was have been bored. I haven't known what to do with myself. Um, the times when I feel bored, I just go and lie on my bed. I'll either meditate or I'll just fall asleep. But you know, there isn't anybody in my life at this moment in time. I'm hoping that at some point in the near future that's going to change, because I am really quite sociable, and to be in isolation or solitude, it's sort of I won't say it goes against the grain, but I'm just not used to that, really. But over the last couple of weeks, I've had to sort of attune myself to the fact that there isn't anybody in my life at this moment in time. I'm not hearing anything from my family. The last conversation I had with my son was probably about 3.5 weeks ago. You know, and me and my son were really quite close. Um, make of that what you will, really. Make of that what you will. Um, um, I did have an experience uh, probably about 3 or 4 days ago. I was in the meat shop, and there was and the meat shop is not very well organised. If I'm being honest with you, it's something about Jamaica, that organisation. Sometimes it just doesn't exist. But anyway, I was in the meat shop, and there was this woman standing in front of me, and a guy that I say hello to was standing behind me, and there was a woman that was in the next queue, and all of a sudden, she she left that queue and stood in front of me. So I said to her, well, what are you doing? You know, you can't just jump queues like that and think that you're going to stand, that you're going to, you know, push in front of me. She said to this woman that was in front of me, wasn't I behind you? And this woman looked at her and she was confused, and she went, I really don't know. I wasn't taking that much notice. And so this woman says, yes, I was behind you. And I thought to myself, this is somebody who lives on chaos. And I'm going to say spirit of chaos. Anyway, I had my say, and I thought I'm going to stop here. But all of a sudden, in my mind, my discernment says to me that this woman was a spirit of chaos, and that she knew that the woman in front of me, wasn't going to say anything, and nor the person behind me didn't say anything. So it was just a words that I was having with this woman. But I also kept my my peace that I was holding on to. But the day after, the feeling that I had was that this woman was a spirit of chaos. But my body confirmed that. And then what came into my mind was that God gives you these experiences so that you are aware of the different elements that may actually disrupt you or take you off centre. And I value that experience really, because, you know, it's not very often that we, going through the awakening process, will have these experiences. And I actually think at this moment in time that I'm really quite lucky, because I've met several people that would classify as chosen ones, but we're all different. And I have had spells cast on me. I've felt the spells. It's made me feel a way. I have met low density people that I've confronted and I've never seen again. Do you know? So my experience to date, although unique, I value it. I value my experience, because unless I make terrible mistakes, my experience is going to guide me as I go forward in time. So your discernment and your intuition is so important, people. Please try and get used to using it, because, you know, it's going to be valuable as you go forward within the awakening process, I can assure you. And distraction is another thing that I've experienced really, and I think again God made me understand this better. But, and I've mentioned this before, is the fact that if you're listening to something in terms of the awakening process, or in terms of your mission or your purpose, and you're not listening, although you're trying to listen but you're not listening, that is distraction. That is spiritual warfare. And to be quite honest with you, this has happened to me so many times that even I can say about 10 times that I've been listening to something, and I know that at the poignant points of what I'm listening to, my mind just wanders, and I've actually started the video that I was watching again, and I've done it again and again and again and again, and at some points I've just had to sort of stop what I'm doing and give it a while and go back to it, because now I know the levels of distraction that spiritual warfare presents to people, not necessarily chosen ones, you can't mistake it. Once you've acknowledged it, you can't mistake it, and you can't go back. It's like saying, for those people, thousands of people that have experienced the awakening process, just forget what they've learned, or they've just forget their experiences and go back. And I'm sure there are some people like that, but that's not going to be me. I am not going to actually go through this and then forget that I've had this experience, because this experience that I'm having is real, is absolutely real. And over time, this is going to be evident. People are going to start talking about this, about their experiences in terms of the awakening process, in terms of witchcraft, in terms of spiritual warfare, in terms of the spells that that have been cast on them. And it's gonna come live. It's certainly going to come live. And and I personally want to be at the forefront of this, because I've got so much that I need to say, so much that I need to do, so much investigation that I need to do for myself in order to understand what's happening to me better. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Right. Before my awakening, I had in my aura the people that were trying to hold me back. And I've even had several texts from these people, family members, relatives, mostly. And I put my boundaries in place that I'm not going to let go of, really, because if I let go of the boundaries that I've set for myself in regards to these people, the only thing that is going to happen to me is that I'm going to go backwards, and I do not intend to go backwards at all. If I can help it, I'm not going backwards, because I can't forget what my experiences have been. I can't forget the experiences that I've had with family members and relatives. It's just impossible for me to do. I can't go through an experience that has been really quite unpleasant and then go back and act as if nothing's happened. What is important for me to do is to move forward and to forgive, not forget, but forgive, in order to go forward. Because what I do know is, if I hold on to things that have upset me, I'm not going to move on. And it's important for me to move on. It's important for me to acknowledge my experience and try to record it the best way that I can, not just for me but for other people, to try and understand what is actually happening to me, what is possibly happening to them. And if my recordings can help these people understand that process a bit better, then I'm doing well. Another thing as well, really, when I talk about forgiveness, is try not to disrespect these people. As much as I'm saying that I can't forget what's happening to me, but if I do meet up with any of my family members or my relatives and stuff like that, the only thing that I can do is to respect myself and respect them in order to get on. I'm not saying that I'm going to let these people back into my aura, or I'm not saying that things are going to return to how they were, because it's impossible. It's impossible. But what I can do is be respectful. because everybody has their life to lead, whatever way they choose to live their life. It's a choice that they've made, and it's not something that it's going to affect me, because yes, I've made my choices, and my choices are to be calm, respectful, and to be loving, and to help people as much as I can. That's me, as opposed to me saying that I'm going to, get drunk every weekend, I'm going to get into a fight every weekend, and I'm going to act low density, because that is not me. And that's a choice that I've made for myself, like the choices that people have made for themselves who go out and binge drink most weekends. So my boundaries are fully in place at this moment in time, and that's where it's going to stay. I need to obviously protect myself, and that's the way that I can protect myself, is by showing myself unconditional love, and my boundaries are in place. And your unconditional love is something that enables you to respect yourself more, really, because for me, low density beings, they tend to manipulate chosen ones, simply because chosen ones haven't really been able to show themselves love, and in not showing themselves love, we have been easily manipulated. So unconditional love is really quite important that you practice for yourself in order to protect yourself. So, at this moment in time, I'm just going to read what I said if I can make sense of it. Getting to this stage within the awakening journey and having access to this recording, is over time to put all my evidence together for the outcome of believing my experience. What I am saying, if you have journaled your experience, you will have journaled your evidence. And it's your evidence that you have journaled is integral to your continuation within the awakening process. And even now, I have to recall some of my experiences. I have to go and look up and read some of the journals that I've written, because if I hadn't written my journals and I haven't evidenced the things that I have experienced within the awakening process, I think I would be lost now. And also, just to make people aware, there are a lot of supernatural events that happens within the awakening experience, and it's no use me standing here and saying this is what happened here or this is what happened there, because my experience is my experience. And in saying that, even though I believe my experience, particularly in terms of supernatural events, to stand here and to express what they are would be unbelievable. I know it would be unbelievable, but I know in my heart what my experience were true. I experienced them. I witnessed it. I recall it now. or them. So, what we need to do is protect ourselves. Protect ourselves from witchcraft. Protect ourselves from spiritual warfare. Believe in your experiences. Believe in God. If you don't like that word God, believe in the universe. Believe in the source. Because it's all real. It's all real. Absolutely all real. Here's my pen. So, this is where we are at the moment. Be yourself. If you've got to this stage of the awakening, you have to be yourself. You have to take control. You have to have some time to yourself. You have to rest. Without rest, your body's not going to be able to manage all the different elements of the awakening process that's going to come your way. And it will come your way. So the most important thing I can say at this moment in time is be yourself, rest. And God, the universe, will assist you in that. Absolutely assist you. You know, the experiences that I've had, they have been, wanting a better word, has been weird. Has been weird. But when we're talking about energetic energy, it is going to be weird. It is going to be weird because energetic energy is something that we as human beings don't practice up until now. But things will change. Things are changing. Things are definitely changing. For me, I'm just going to keep going forward. And I'm going to see where this is going to take me. That's the most important thing for me, to see where it's going to take me. Because I've come so far just to stop at this point now. No. What I am experiencing is real. What I do know is that we need to protect ourselves. We need more information. The veil is becoming thinner and thinner and thinner. We've got no choice. As human beings, we've got no choice but to experience the different learning that is coming our way. And it is coming our way. And to turn your back on what is coming is not going to be good. So stand fast in your determination to follow the process through to its conclusion. And the awakening process is something that will continue. It's something that will continue to challenge you in certain aspects of life and living. Yeah. So, fear. Let me say one more thing, really. Then this is really quite important. There are low density people, just like there is God, or source, or the universe, that creates content on YouTube or various social media sites. Following the process, the awakening process, mostly is religious or religion. And I've said on numerous occasions that I am not religious. But in saying that, I do know that any communication from source, from the universe, does not create fear in the individual. Any information regarding the awakening process does not promote fear. God does not promote fear. He will challenge you in terms of the process, in terms of your thoughts, in terms of some of the things that you have or will do, but he will not create fear in you. However, demonically, low density, spiritual warfare creates fear. God does not create fear. Demonic engagement creates fear. It's important that you get that distinction. Fear, demonic, calmness, love is the universe. If you are in trouble in terms of the processes that you have followed, please pray to the universe, to God, to Source. Alternatively, contact me and we can talk through the process. Right, so I think that is me for today. It's a nice day. I'm going to feed my dog. It is now, it's only 2:10. So in the next hour I shall feed my dog. I'm just going to relax now, maybe put some music on and just chill. I think is what I'm going to do now. So I hope that you find some of the content that I spoke about today useful. I shall be back again soon. I'm not sure when, but I shall be back. In the meantime, lots of love. Take care. Bye for now.